Welcome, Hornets, and thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the horizontal representative rectangles worksheet. This is what I gave to our classes today in AB, AP Calculus AB. And what I'd like to do is just give individuals who are not members of my class the opportunity to take a picture of this, a screenshot. Please do so now. Then we'll be going over numbers 1 through 4. Numbers 1 and 2 are working with horizontal rectangles, and numbers 3 and 4 are working with vertical rectangles but having a point of intersection in between. Alrighty, let's go ahead and begin. We're going to start with number 1 first. And in number 1, we're just going to go ahead and graph this thing. The hardest part is the graphing of this. And I recommend that you work with the y equals 1 and y equals 3, which are your endpoints. Alrighty, so we have our problem written down. Now, what we're going to do here is we're now going to try to draw this graph. I'm going to put in the x equals 2. That's first. Now, when I plug in y equals 1, you'll notice I get 1/4. So at y equaling 1, I'm going to have a negative 4. And it's up here. Then, as I plug in the 3, so when y equals 3, I'm looking at negative 4/9. And this is a reciprocal function and therefore a curve, looking something like this. And I'm looking for that area. I'm going to draw in my representative rectangle. It has 2 points. The first point is 2y. Second point is this one over here, negative 4 over y squared, comma y. And I'm looking at the right minus the left. So this is the integration from 1 to 3 of my right value, 2. Double negative gives me 4 over y squared dy. And this is what I'm now going to integrate. So as we go through our integration, you'll notice we get 2y minus 4 divided by y from 1 to 3. When we plug this in, we get 6 minus 4/3. And then we have a minus 2 minus 4. This is giving me, 18/3 minus 4/3. And I'm also looking at subtracting, minus double negative, so I have a plus 2. This is giving me 14/3, adding 6/3, and my answer is 20/3. Let's go ahead and go to number 2. Now, number 2, once again, let's just put this up for a moment, is also a relation, and you're going to want to just try to figure out how to graph it. Now, you can graph it as x squared equals y, but remember, we're only looking at the y values that are greater than or equal to 0 based upon this domain. Because of that, our graph turns out to look like this first, and then this second, and we're going from 0 up to 4. Let's just put in our representative rectangles. This point here is 2 root y comma y. This point right here is root y comma y. Notice how I'm using what x is. Since x is the square root of y, I know that I can put square root of y comma y. We're now going to set this up as our integration, and we are going from 0 up to 4, and you'll notice that I have 2 root y minus root y dy, and this is the same thing as the integral from 0 to 4 of root y dy. This is y to the 1/2, and therefore I have 2/3 y to the 3/2 power from 0 to 4. The 0 is not going to happen, but when I plug in the 4, I get the square root of 4 is 2. 2 to the 3rd power is 8 times 2, and my answer is 16 thirds. And this is going to bring me to my number 3. Let's just find, where did I put the, there it is. Losing a little bit of everything here. So beware, in number 3, we're going from 1 to 5, and we have a quadratic that's opening down and a linear equation that has a negative slope. So once again, we want to make sure that we graph this appropriately. I have the quadratic. Kind of looks, it's going to go through, negative 17. So we know it's all the way down there. It's going up, does this. And then we have graph doing something like this. And this is 1 right here. That's x equals 2. And then we're going up to 5. And our 5 is right about here. Okay. Notice the orientation change at 2. So we're going to have 2 integrations that we're going to have to work on. The first is the integral from 1 to 2. And we're looking at our upper equation is the linear, negative 2x plus 3. And then we're subtracting the negative 2x squared plus 12x minus 17 dx. And we're adding to it the integration from 2 to 5. Now we have the quadratic in front, so it's negative 2x squared plus 12x minus 17, and we are subtracting the negative 2x plus 3 dx. And this is what we're going to have to work with. So the first thing I want to do is simplify. And this is going to give me the integration 1 to 2 of 2x squared minus 14x plus 20 dx. Adding to it 2 to 5, and I'm looking at a negative 2x squared plus 14x and a minus 20 dx. Now putting this into our form, you'll notice we get 2/3 x cubed minus 7x squared plus 20x from 1 to 2 plus, this is giving me negative 2/3 x cubed plus 7x squared minus 20x, and this is from 2 to 5. When we put these values in, you'll notice that we're going to get 52 thirds minus 41 thirds. And we're adding to it negative 25 thirds plus 52 thirds. And this is giving me 11 thirds plus 27 thirds. And I end up with 38 thirds. And 38 thirds is approximately 12 2/3, or 12.666 repeating. And that is number 3. This brings me to number 4. Let's just remind ourselves number 4. We have once again a quadratic that's upside down in a linear equation with a negative slope. Once again, we are looking at something that does this to that. And we're starting at negative 3. Right here is my y-axis. And we've got this picture. So we're going from negative 2 to 0, and then from 0 up to 3. So our first integration from negative 2 to 0 is working with my upper equation. In this case, I have negative x over 2 minus 1, and I'm subtracting the negative x squared over 2 plus 2x minus 1 dx. We're then going to add to this the second integration, That's 0 to 3. And now we end up having that negative x squared over 2 plus 2x minus 1. And we are going to subtract our negative x over 2 minus 1 dx. And this is going to now give me the integration. So you'll notice we end up with negative 2 to 0, excuse me. Last thing you want to do is mess up this far in the game. And I have the x squared over 2. We're getting a minus 2x minus a half x is minus 5 halves x. And the 1 will cancel, dx. Plus, we're now looking at 0 to 3. We have the negative x squared over 2. We're now adding 5 halves x, and once again, the 1 cancels. Now be careful, because we are trying to integrate. So we're looking at bringing the power up to a third, dividing by that new power, 1/6 x cubed, minus, we have 5/4 x squared from negative 2 to 0, and we are adding to it. We have negative x cubed over 6, and we have plus 5/4 x squared, and this is going from 0 to 3. We're now going to start plugging in our values. Operatively, this one here, so we have 0 minus, and we're looking at negative 4/3 when it reduces, and we have 5 minus 5. Then we're adding to it, plugging in the 3. This is giving me 9 halves, and it's a minus. Then we're putting our 3 in here, and this is giving me plus 45/4. And this is what we're trying to add together. And please be aware, this is going to give me, 19/3. And then I'm going to add to it what remains from 18/4 plus negative 18/4 plus 45/4 should give me 27/4. And I'm going to plug this in, and I get 157/12, which is approximately 13.083. Now notice I'm going to have to multiply this by 4 over 4. 4 over 4. And 3 over 3 to get the common denominator. And then I add that, 72 and 181. And we should get our 157. Okay? That is our worksheet, horizontal representative rectangles number 1, which we started in class today, and hopefully this has helped. If you found this to be useful, please click like, and if you have comments or questions or concerns or suggestions on how I can improve, please feel free to put a comment, and I will read them and try to improve. Thank you very much. Be well and be safe, Hornets, and have a great night. Bye-bye.